What message are you sending to them subliminally? You are telling them, you can do this if you want to, and nothing will happen. So until we get to that point where, as a nation, we decide that enough is enough. If you do this, we go to court, and the court will come hard on you. Until we get to that point, for me, I don't mourn. I just look.
Philemon, let me stay with you before I come to Alhaji, because you talk about the court. The court gave a ruling that this third tier of government is autonomous. It's autonomous. They stand on their own. They should get their funding directly from the federal allocation. When they want to share, they share federal, state, and local government. The local government funds should not pass through the state funding. The court has decided on this, but by flagrant disrespect for the law by this particular governor of Edo State, for example, nobody, even the Attorney General and Minister for Justice has said that what the court has said, there's a ruling on this already. Why are they not respecting the ruling?
I think there is also a case, I think, Osun State.
Yes. So, yeah, exactly.
Now, so as the Attorney General of the Federation, there are two things you need to do. One, you have administrative levers to pull, to call those guys to order. And one of those administrative levers is to hold their funds. Another one is to go back to court, because that is what do you call it now? Disobedient to court order. And there's a word now I'm looking for. When you disobey a court order, what happens? You are punished by the court. So you go back to court and say, see what's going on here. This is a disobedience of the judgment you have made. So. And you extract that pound of flesh. So, good enough that this administration has granted local government enough ample room to maneuver. Now that the governors are going back to their vomit, because that's where they have always felt comfortable, then you must come very hard on them. Yes, seize the funds. Let them complain. Let the heavens fall. Let them go to court. And then we'll go back to court and settle the issue. That's all.
Okay, all right, let me come to you, Alhaji. Now, seeing the things that are happening, he is saying, because the courts don't have the police, not the instrument of coercion. The only people or the only arm that has the instrument of coercion is the executive. But the executive has sat down like a duckling or lame duck, and they are not doing anything.
Because it favors them.
Because the president is looking away. This particular president was one of the biggest advocates of local government autonomy.
That's right.
He even fought that states can create their own local government. As we speak till today, Lagos State does election for all the LGAs, even the one created by the states. I mean, couldn't have this president that we all looked up to, that have been clamoring for structural change through federalism, have been a proponent of this case. But the obvious is what we can say.
Okay, so I'm going to come from this angle. If you have a father who smokes, who womanizes, and he has boys, and as a matter of fact, send those boys to go get the alcohol, the smoke, or even ask them to go and get girls for him, like, you know how they do it now. Yes. Please, so is coming. Tell her I'm not around. But if so come, tell her that she'll meet me here. Indirectly, when the children grow up and start behaving that way, you don't blame them because they saw their father do that. All these issues started from the day the president gave the local government their power. From that point, some of these governors started misbehaving. You could even see it. They started misbehaving. Like I even know of a governor that even told the local government chairman, all of you come. You know, some of these things don't get to the news. All of you come. And they all sat down and told them, look, the fact that from the federation to the local government post doesn't mean that you people want the money. They do that. Now, but here is the thing. Nigeria is the country where things happen. Things that have never happened before in the whole world happen and nobody will talk. because they have, apart from disrespecting the judiciary, they have disrespected even the people they lead. We have always said it, we don't have leaders, we have rulers. So whatever is happening is just what we see. The ones that are happening, we don't even know them. Some of these things will spring up towards the build up of 2027, because a lot will happen that even you'll be ashamed to call yourself in Nigeria. The judiciary themselves, I just sometimes, with due respect to this arm of government, I just feel that they've lost their footing. Because how can, I remember when the Natasha case, we were here discussing, and we said, it may be the language, the ambiguity in the languages the judiciary use is affecting law that they pass. Because if you give a ruling and you say this, maybe they should start using pidgin English. Maybe that will go well. Because sometimes I hearing, therefore there are, it's confusing. Because one other lawyer will come out and interpret it and say, no, that command there means something. So if the judiciary themselves want to make Nigeria work, they should stand up. Because if the law says X, everybody should work with X. But somebody will interpret it the other way. And now the president himself, you would think the president doesn't know what is happening. He knows. Because at the end of the day, everybody comes back to him. You are talking about the Lagos one, you're talking about Osun, you talk about Edo State. The governor himself said it, that anything they will do, Edo State is APC. So I off camera I was telling you something that happened somewhere. I know all these things that most times some of the ones happening in the north are even worse than the one that you see, because it's just a normal thing.
They are not on the news.
They are not on the news. The only time they come on the news is when the opposition party gets agitated, like this is not going our way. They come out. But these men meet themselves and they discuss. Those chairmen that you see, they are at par with all that is happening. They are comfortable with it because they know that some of them already, just the way we are now, maybe him can be, maybe somebody had promised him, I don't know, I'm just saying, yeah. I'm trying to use an analogy. Somebody may have promised him and say, you know what, 7 years from now, for whatever you are doing, we know you have crowd, but 7 years from now, nobody will oppose you. So whatever you will do, even though you shake the water, shake it, but don't push too much. Your time is 7 years. He's supposed to be a local government chairman, but they know his strength. They'll just tell him, because we know you. So 7 years from now, just be eyeing that 7 years from now. So they have already bargained. They've settled themselves. Those ones you see they're stepping down, they already know you. 7 years from now, this honorable will step down. You will be the one who push. I was somewhere and I saw how they were sharing position. You are the one that's going to be the capacity leader. You are going to be you are going to take over from so. They know how it will end, and we are just here sitting down talking about them. And that's why it baffled me a lot when sometimes we I don't want to say we are sweating over this matter of these people, because they already know from ab initio who would be here. They have a script. They are following the script. Sometimes it might be maybe like an addendum. Maybe they now suddenly found someone who is fit, so they now call this one. And that's the reason why most times this our leaders have some of this altercation, is because imagine I just said 7 years, then you are waiting the 5th year, one new bride just come from nowhere, and he said this wasn't our agreement, and that's why it gets to the news. But when it's favoring there, it don't get to the news. So Nigeria is a country where law and order does not work, because from the head is already rotten. So it's high time we begin to don't sugarcoat it. Let's say it the way it is, and so that whoever want to hear, just like the Holy Book will say, he that has ear, let him hear. It's posterity's sake will not judge us that we've not said our own part, we've not played our part. This is our own part we are playing.
Well, sometime we pray, we go to church, we go to mosque, we pray every day that Nigeria will be on the path of greatness. And these our leaders too, they also go to the same religious houses that we go
because they also go. That's why whenever they are calling, the angels close the door and say, Nigeria, no, don't answer Nigeria till the leaders stop coming to my place.
Fillmore, you have something to say more?
Well, religion has always been like a brooch that you put on your shirt. So when you get home, you don't leave the brooch on the shirt. You take it off and put it somewhere. So, and it's not something that just started happening now. It has always been so. Religion has been used as a facade for people to do whatever they want, and that is why you see empires will collapse. In most cases, it's all about squabbles, either political squabbles or religious squabbles. So it bites me a lot when I see people of different faiths going to church, Holy Ghost fire, going to pray 5 times. But once it comes to doing the right thing, you see the demonic spirit in them come out. I've done job for a federal government institution. And this guy said, let's share the money. And I said, we're young. We just came back to the country. We want to make things work. And we have been criticizing government. Now we have one little opportunity. Why do you want us to share the money? Let us do the right thing. And God help us. We move it to another African country. We get it done. That's how development spreads. That's how Europe became developed. One copying the other, one copying the other, and the whole stretch becomes developed. But here, I was speaking to somebody in London yesterday, and he said he does not understand our wish to amass wealth that we don't need. And he was giving an example. Somebody will go and build a 10-bedroom house. His children are all gone, and it's just him and his wife in 10 bedrooms. I have seen a number of those houses in my town. Empty. So, or somebody goes to the UK or America, like there was one I was reading. That house has been there for the past 12 years. Nobody is living there. It was bought by an official associated with our oil and gas company. I mean, oil and gas sector. So, what is wrong with us? I'm still wondering what is that thing, because in economics they tell us that when societies move, it is said that there is an implosion from inside, or it runs into something that it cannot resist. Then there will be an inflection point. When is that going to happen for Nigeria? I have no idea.
It will happen.
And I don't see it.
It will happen. The only time it will happen is if Nigerians, not the class, but the Nigerians themselves, will stand up and stop accepting whatever is dished out to them from this.
Alhaji, Nigerians have become malnourished, depressed, that they need a drop of water. Like those images that used to come out of Somalia, they can't fight. So in the course of it, everyone is looking at taking what can I get. So like in the words of Showore, Nigerians are defeated. How can they fight? A country of 230 million, you can't get 20,000 people to come out and protest.
But they want to eat rice.
But let me.
But you get a country of 30 million, 120 something tribes, right? Come out, and just 2 million of them, and upstaged a government.
I think you need to. I caution people when they invest their hope in the people, right? I was dropping somebody at this area one roundabout, right? A friend, to pick a vehicle from there, and this hoodlum just came around.
They collected your key?
Collected my key, and said, "Why did I stop to pick passengers?" I said, "Excuse me, I'm not picking a passenger. Did you see me as a cab driver or something? I just want to jump a friend." And I felt insulted that I was explaining myself
To hoodlums.
And there was what's it called now? A federal road safety officer just around the place. I am a special marshal. I went to. I said, I am a special marshal. I parked properly. That's number one. And I'm dropping a friend. Don't I have the right to drop? Come and talk to this guy. And this guy was telling me, "Oh boy, find something for them." And I said, "For what reason? Why should I find something for them? Why?" So this infection is, you know, when we were in secondary school, something is canker worm, whatever.
Yeah.
It's already inside of our DNA. So to purge those at the top, those at the bottom, we first need to purge themselves. And that is where I say I don't see the future here.
So I let me just quickly buttress this point. That was where I was driving to. The lower class, what they do is, even somehow, if you try to put it on the table, I feel it's worse than even the high. Because I kept crying about this. See, Nigeria has gotten to a point where everybody is a leader in his own sphere. They do whatever is convenient for them. So they don't. The next thing you hear from that man on the street is, if our leaders can do this, nobody should talk to me about this. Now, he is talking about the Agueros, Area 1, Barnes, all those places you don't dare park. Why? Because they have their own authority. They are answerable to who we don't know. We've kept crying about this and they will continue to do it. Now, this is what we face. And these are people who want to get money from people who are like them. They don't go to the Aso Rock. They don't go to the National Assembly to harass their own people who are living below $1. So what are we saying? Nigeria is a place, in Abuja, for example, the moment the minister just did that flyover, all the houses around there, they increase. The landlord that have not visited his house for more than 15 years, 20 years, say, oh, my house now, the wood has increased. Wood that you have not even gone to timber shed to price. So what are we saying? We are our problem. Until those below start correcting it, then they start seeing. You are talking about hunger. You can fight when you don't have strength. You use your last strength. For those of you who read your Bible, the last strength was what something asked God to give him. So you can use your last strength and request for a change and beg God for a change. But if from below there is nothing we are doing to change the root from the lowest, then we can never get it right.
What amazes me most is the fact that a state like Edo State that has someone like Comrade Adams Oshomole that fought for what is right. And no, he used to say one man, one vote. During this controversial period of time, he stays quiet. And quietness, what do we say about quietness? Quietness means I'm in tandem.
Yes. Yeah.
Am I correct?
But you must it's a good thing that you referred to his time in the labor union. Fierce. People saw him
fierce.
Yes, really fierce.
Fierce.
Everybody, federal government. But here is a man who became governor, who fought people like Anene and the others
And retired them.
retired them. Then as soon as he did that, he put on the garb of Pharaoh. Look at what he did with his own man. Look at what he did. You have done your bit. You have left. Just like what Wike is doing now. But you want to tie your predecessor with the best ropes in the country.
And you're still enjoying the political positions.
So now, it's just like in River State. You cannot question, you cannot help a situation when you don't have the moral standing to do so. Can Oshomole really wake up today and go and caution anybody? Who's going to listen to him? I tell you something, he was one governor I used to listen to because one, he's articulate, two, he makes a lot of sense when he talks. But shortly after he left, I saw the other face. And I said, my God, this man is gone.
No, the issue with him is that he still makes a lot of relevant suggestions.
They don't mean anything to me anymore.
Yeah, because of the experience. But in the face of evil, of some other things that are happening, he keeps quiet.
One would only expect that with the doggedness of Comrade Adams Oshomole, you expect that when things are going south, he will speak up. The only time he wants to speak up is maybe when labor decides they want to go on strike. You see him as maybe as an past president, an alumni of the NLC. He want to come out to broker peace with the federal government and Labour.
And he was the chief organizer of protests.
Yes. So what are we saying? Is favoring him now, so he decided to keep quiet. The truth of the matter is, most times these people, we all went to schools in our time in Nigeria, where you see we were activists in our school days, and the reason why we were activists was because we want people to be afraid of us. We want our voice to be heard. We want, when they want to talk about things, they go and say, call this person, bring him, please. We know he has crowd. I remember back then in school in Zamfara, when you want to do election, if you don't come to my place, forget about it. You are not winning. Just sitting down in my comfort zone in the lodge, you just see different political aspirants coming to my Baba. I said I should come and greet you. We are calling the shot. Now, sometimes we do it for just self-aggrandizement, but when you gradually get to a particular point, you start entering your head. You now look at it. Let's graduate from here to this level, and that, like Omoyele Sowore, he was a union president during his time. Yes, and you can see that as a former NANS president, he still continue up to this point. If you ask me, Sowore is one man that is still doing it, but will that continue when he gets power? That's another thing you check. That's what happened to Adam. I remember back there in Kaduna, when you come to massacre in Kaduna, Labour, Texas, Adam Oshomole was there. But then from there, he now graduated and became the national. I wanted him to be a president because of the way he speaks. People liked him. But what is happening now? If an Adam Oshomole stand up today and said, I am against what is happening in Nigeria, in Edo State, I mean, no, this is not what I fought for. If the youth want to protest, give them the right to protest. I am telling you, Nigerians will love him. Nigerians love people who live by what they preach. You don't just preach, because like they said, the internet doesn't forget. Everything Adam Oshomole did while he was the union leader, a lot of people still have them in their face. But today, where is he? It's like when you have a bulldog that is toothless.
Diminished. So, okay, we can talk about this matter and we will never stop. But we want the judiciary to stand up to this capture of local government by the governors. Look at what's happening in Osun. We call an end to these things without recourse. All right, let's move on a little bit. Okay, opposition stakeholder launch Agobi 2027, saying urge Atiku to back down for Obi. And one of the proponents of this organization is Peter Ame, the CUPP. This secretary or chairman, I can't remember his position. Now, what their main reason, or their main reason for forming the association, is that they want Atiku to step down for Peter Obi so that the opposition can stand as one. Do you think they will achieve this?
I wish them good luck. But here is the thing. We have always said that in Africa, it has been impossible to uproot the sitting government because of squabbles within opposition. So the lessons of history are there for anybody to see. If you don't take those lessons, they say history will always repeat itself. I don't know whether it's history that is repeating itself or humans that are repeating themselves. Like you said, when we keep making the same errors, we will get the same results. So they have seen that in a few countries in Africa, there have been an upturn. So if I were in somebody's shoes, I want to go back and say, how did this happen? You must learn the lesson. How did this happen? If you close your eyes like a monkey, you are not going to get the cookie. That position is a prized position. Just like when people blame Tinubu, do this. See, anybody that gets there is defensive, wants to protect the tough. So if you want to upturn the status quo, you must do your homework. And I don't see these guys doing their homework. They are just jumping all over the place. For God's sake, I don't know what is that in Atiku's mind. What does he want? You have a state. If you want to demonstrate leadership, if you want to demonstrate development, go to your state and try something new there. Make it a showcase for the world. Say, see, I have done this. Even if that's the only thing you do, I think God will reward you. And I always tell some people around that I am around, must it be politics?
What of humanitarian?
What of humanitarian world? There are so many things we can do to affect humanity. These guys, this is how they're going to be jumping from pillar to post. Before you know it, 2027 is here. And I can tell you, the administration is not sleeping. They know the game. They have been in the trenches before.
And they're poaching a lot of...
they are pulling the string. They are boring hole. While you are there talking, they are boring hole under you. No. So the chair you are sitting on right now has no soil under it. All right? Remember how they themselves came in. So they are experienced.
They know the game.
So if these guys want to upturn the cart, well,
let's go there.
Let's go there.
Now we've had a Baba Buhari that couldn't move out of Aso Rock.
Right.
Maybe in weeks, in months. Then the other months he will spend it at a medical facility somewhere in London. Then we also now have our leader, the President of Nigeria, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, that has only visited about 2 to 3 states, more than halfway into his presidency. Can we afford another president that is stationed only in Aso Rock? We need a moving president. We need a president that will go from north, south, east, and west. That's the truth. It doesn't mean because his moving work is going, but at least the first call is that the president must be able to move to have eyewitnesses, not a president that will package and package for 2 months before you can do a 1-hour flight. Not a president that will always be in France or UK on a working visit. We want a president that will work here. How many times do you hear that Trump is working, he has a working visit? But this has become our lot. Do you think we can afford an Atiku?
Okay, so while you were talking, I just took my mind back to the time where we have the former Minister of Works. There was a particular phrase that came out from when he went to visit a site where they were constructing bridge many years ago. I think then I was in secondary school, where he said, "Who do this gada?" I know some of you will remember Colonel Olariwaju.
Yeah.
He said, "Who do this gada?" It shows that these people, they work. If I am saddled with the responsibility to oversee a particular ministry or parastatal, my effect should be there. I shouldn't just give you a project and then sit back because I've collected my own kickback. No, they go from Obasanjo up to Jonathan. It was a delight to see president trying to visit state.
Yes.
You see each state jostling for the
Carrying
president.
up. Yes.
Their children are getting ready. I mean, it was a delight. We see president, the president is in this state tomorrow. He will be in Kwara. He will be in Kano. You see them dress alike.
And the governor is trying to finish a lot of projects.
They want to hasten up so that the president will come and see it. Now, even though then we were seeing that as eye service,
yes,
but it was effective. It was working. We see people. You see the announcement all over President Olusegun Obasanjo coming to Imo State. Then in the next 3 months, President Olusegun Obasanjo is coming to Zamfara. Then Goodluck Jonathan, the same thing. Highest in a year, throughout the tenure, you see that maybe highest they do 4 states, the only state that have not been visited maybe 4. But you see that the president is more in the country than outside.
The president will visit troops that are on the front line.
Yes. We'll go there to pay them homage, greet them, visit them, wear the khaki, go there, see them. Now it's because at that time, they understand what service is. Now, at that point in their life, they were not too feeble. they were still ready for war.
Agile, yeah.
Yes. But each time we are getting men and women, in short, we are getting men who are almost two battery. Their battery is low. You see battery low, connect to charger. And that's how we are continue to connect to charger. And at the point they just left them in charger when you have the solar that let the charger keeping them. Now, for Atiku, I've said this over and over that Abubakar Atiku should just respect himself and become a responsible elder statesman. Yes, you have your people, you have your crowd. To like Adamawa, they hail you. This one you are coming, they are hailing you. But if you want a better Nigeria, a Nigeria that will work, it's only important for you to look at somebody that is younger and vibrant. Atiku doesn't have that power to crisscross Nigeria for 1 month. Even the Obi himself that tried it,
feeling it.
Obi felt it and he had to go to hospital. And the next thing he came, my body is not firewood, so I decided to stop by at the hospital in Enugu to just receive treatment. Obi, that even younger than Atiku, can feel it. So why am I going too far? My father passed on. Just crossing around between Abuja, Kaduna, I felt it. Not to talk of the ones that are even flying. Going there are places chartered aircraft.
They don't have to wait for airline.
And some of the places they will go, when politicians, when they are vying for position, they go to where you don't expect them to go. They will even fry akara. They will even sell granite. They will do roast masara for people. So all those things are stress. So can this person coming up, can he face that stress? Can he endure that stress? We need somebody who is, I'm not saying it must be OB. If the group are gathering together, the civil society and the rest, they are gathering and say, Atiku, please step down for Obi. It's only wise. You said he should go into humanitarian. He's already an humanitarian person. He has a school. He has everything for him. Atiku at this point should be a mentor. He should as a matter of fact, get an institute for political grooming. Where you start nurturing young men and tell them this is, look, do you know the legacy that he will leave if he has something of such? Bringing young men and telling Nigerians, these are my retirement plan. This one, I have groomed him, I've tutored him to be this. Very soon, Nigeria, watch out for this. Then people will start applauding you. I don't know how sometimes these people think. Some of us have been in our own space in the media for 20 years, of going to 20 years, and I have people who I am grooming as my retirement plan. If I can think this way, why can't these people? Oh, somebody will say, maybe because you have not tested the money. Yes, but do you know what it means to invest in human capital? When you get human, you don't lack anything. And these men, they have all. What are they looking for?
Well, we hope they can achieve this, and maybe the opposition can get their acts together and move forward from there. I know a lot of people have accused Peter Obi of not wanting to run through the primaries. Even the likes of Deji Adeyanju has said that. But I've always said, we know the primaries. We should not play ignorant to the fact that we know the kind of primaries we run in Nigeria. It's a money-backed primaries, and if we can get it through other way, it doesn't mean that you are not running primary, mean you are not democratic. We are redefining democracy. If all that is happening in America, is happening, that are not democratic, democracy is being redefined, and democracy has to be according to how it suits your own system and work for you, because this thing are according to people, tribe, and all that. Whatever nationalistic idea they are talking about, they should talk nationalism into democracy, how that particular country can function better. So if they are able to achieve that, I think it will be good. They should put their hearts together and make sure they fight for the common Nigeria, hoping that when they get to power, they're not going to follow the way of the others have gone. All right. According to the first quarter of this year, the GDP is 3.13 thereabout, better than the first quarter of last year. The same thing with the first quarter of this year. Compared with the first quarter of last year they had about second quarter of last year was like 3 point something. Now it's about 5 point something. Knowing that it's like like the economy is picking up. But people are saying that the borders have been left porous and food are coming in, or some things that we can produce are coming in, and some sort killing the local manufacturing industries. Now, of course, there's this thing that Okonjo Iweala said, that the president should allow some social net to cover out some people. Having said that, this palliative is for immediate measures. But what about long-time measures? Now, that's what the critics are saying. Local production is going to be too expensive for the people to produce when you are bringing in this food. On the long run, it's going to affect our economy. Philemon, do you agree?
I agree. And for those who are celebrating 4 point something as a big deal, I just feel sorry for them. Because in economics, 3 point something, 4 point something, that's the growth pattern of already developed countries.
The GDP.
Countries that have stabilized. So for developing countries, we look to 9, 10, or even threatening double digit.
The margin should be higher.
Yes. That's when you know that.
So when it's dropping, we know that. Yes.
That's when we know that you are on fire. If you look at China for a couple of years, if you look at the Asian tigers, that was what they were doing that spoiled their economics to where they are today. So it is only when you have stabilized that you do 3 point something, 4 point something. But to address the issues, I don't think it is complicated. Number one, a country will grow when a country can feed itself. And God, do we have good land in the country? I remember when we were together in after you left City View Estate.
Oh, yeah.
I just said to myself one day, why are we buying mangoes? Why are we buying banana? Why are we buying plantain? And I went around, I got suckers, I got, just name it, I got it. Orange, banana, cashew. And I'm talking about 1 meter by 80 meters. And God, 5 years later, I couldn't believe it. People were coming to my house to get mangoes. There was no way I could eat all those mangoes. I was giving them mangoes, oranges, cashews, just name it. And that is just 1 meter by 80 meters. So now, think of a place like Abuja. Part of what I said earlier the other day that I talked to you about. Do a fence, an agricultural fence around each city. Because one of the things that hike the price of its transportation. So what is it that we can produce? I used to think that you can't grow plantain in Abuja. And I was surprised.
You can.
That you can grow plantain in Abuja. You can grow yam. You can grow whatever you want to do. Now, that is on one hand. On the other hand, what do you do with people who want to go to the farms and they can't go to the farms?
Security.
Because of insecurity. That has not been addressed. Look at our food basket, Benue State. Look at the chaos going on there, and that is just, you know, the people in the NGO used to talk about ungoverned space, and I used to laugh. What do you mean ungoverned? There's no part of Nigeria that is ungoverned. Go and build a house anywhere, and you see people who come and challenge you.
Even in the forest.
This is my father's land. That a whole state. You talk about Plateau. You talk about Benue. For how long? Farmers can't go anywhere. Nasarawa. People can't go anywhere. What on earth? And you have a national security advisor. And then you have the army. There you have the police. We are talking about a state. An enclosed area that you can see. You can patrol. People are just coming, causing chaos and getting away.
And they move in bikes. It's not what you cannot spot.
It's not invisible. These are people that are all over the place that you can see. So there are times I just wonder: are we under a spell?
Most likely.
Because there has to be something to explain why we cannot get hold of ourselves, why we cannot keep ourselves together to do the ordinary things that help to grow an economy. For instance, as I was saying earlier, If I have a small farm in my compound, and you do, and he does, and Philip does, and everybody else does, what happens to the prices of food?
Crash.
It will crash. And once you're able to feed yourself, what happens? You have enough to export to other parts of the country and make critical foreign exchange. And use the foreign exchange, because we are not manufacturing machines here, use the foreign exchange to bring in machines to process, add value, and export. And we grow. And we keep going round and round and round and round, talking the same thing. We're not moving the needle. That is why there was a point for 5 years, they called me to come. I said, no, I don't want to talk on television or radio or anything. I'm tired, because nobody seems to be listening. If they are listening, they will do the right thing. And I tell you, if we have a dedicated leader, I can tell you, in 20 to 30 years, people will not believe what they will see in this country.
All right. Do you think that what the federal government is doing right now is sustainable? Because we say we used to buy a bag of rice for 100 and something. Now is this thing sustainable?
So if a government is applauding itself because rice used to be 100,000 and is now 80,000 or thereabout, then it's a shame.
Big one.
I can say this categorically because I was speaking to a friend of mine. He mentioned the food basket. I was speaking to a friend of mine to see how we can start subsidize the price of rice to the common Nigerians. He is a farmer in Benue State. And while we're talking, I said, my classmate back there in school. And he told me, he said, insecurity pushed them away from their farms. But gradually they started going to farm. Now their only prayer is that they get to the point where they want to harvest and nothing happens, because that's where they have that fear. Now, he said, if I can get him the rice filler and the machine, so I quickly Googled it, and it's about 200 thereabout. And he said, if I can get it for him, he will assure me of 100 bags of rice. Bring them to Abuja. Anyhow, we'll move them. We'll bring them to Abuja. Why am I saying this? There are young men and women who are willing to help the government, but the government is not helping them. I'm just talking about one person I know that can make available 100 bags of rice if given the implement, the machines. Just, it's not a big machine, just one that he will just use.
Is it $200,000 or 200,000 naira? 200
bags, 100 bags.
No,
okay, 200,000 naira. 200,000 naira. He said, just that machine, he would harvest. It's faster for him to harvest. And he can assure me that he will get that. And I told him, no problem. We started working on it already. So, why, before I had my own incident. Now, why am I saying this? Imagine one individual, then what happens to others who just need that support? Then you hear that the president's friend brought a tractor from Belarus.
Belarus.
Where is that? And the people who are supposed to be using it can't even see it. We have Nigeria Air that we saw, but nobody had ever traveled with it. You saw a tractor and nobody can lay hold and say, okay, I am a beneficiary of this. So if individuals like us can support these small scale farmers, these men who are willing to just make things available, like he said, in my house we have pawpaw, we have banana, we have some people now, what they deserve in doing is get these bags and put yam.
Yes.
They plant yam in there.
It's very rampant now.
Yes.
And before you know, you get 100 tubers of yam.
So what are we saying? The government, if the government, I'm sorry, if the government, they are not wise. If the government is wise, sit down, call yourself to order. Nigerians are looking for solution for Nigeria. Nigerians are looking for solution for Nigeria. How do we support them? Don't make things difficult for them. Now, because you see these people bringing yams, you now ask boys to wait for them and stop them and get half of what they have, you take half of it from them. Then before they get to, let's say they are coming to Abuja, before they get to Abuja, the transport fare, the tax, everything added to the product, a tuber of yam will now become like gold. Because the government is not even helping them. What do? It's very simple. Farmers are complaining. First, they don't have security, but finally they were able to maneuver their way. And now transportation, no good road. They manage again to maneuver their way to get this product out of their confine, bringing them to the city. Then, unnecessary tax. You meet the first tax, you meet security, soldiers, police will tell you how far. Now they carry yam go. No, give us yam. They will collect 2 yams. You are bringing 1,000 tubers of yam to Abuja. You end up bringing 800 tubers. Now, what happened to the remaining 200? So it's becoming so tiring that these people, they just felt like no need doing this business.
So these are the bottlenecks that should be addressed.
Asian bottlenecks.
Asian bottlenecks. Yes. Real Asian bottlenecks. They've been there and nobody can remove it. Well, we can keep talking, but we'll always talk. Now, let's round up with this. Akpoti Uduaghan, NLC, Afenifere, fourth Senate stand on Natasha's resumption. I wish someday, somehow, very soon, very quickly, they can sort out this Akpoti Uduaghan. These are ways democracy is being derailed. The people of Kogi Central lack a senatorial representation. And just yesterday, somebody was writing about the SGF palliatives that he has been giving since 1990. Whatever that he has been in government, it has always been motorbikes that he gives to his people, and now even the people of Kogi Central cannot even get motorbikes. When is this going to end?
It will end when we all die and go to heaven.
When is it going to end? Sure, quickly.
The truth is, I think I blame the Kogi Central. They are divided because one, the former governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, it's from there.
Even the present governor.
Yes, and he has his own people. They are all trying to sabotage this whole thing. And they are even the ones...
Not thinking about
they don't think about it. Yes. So it's high time the Kogi Central, they stand up in unity, come out. If they come to National Assembly, they will now realize that we are of change. They will wake up. But it's still go back to the impunity we are talking. How the court of competent will give a ruling. It will be interpreted into 15 languages. So I still beg them, please use pidgin English or look at where this incident is happening, use their native language to interpret the law so that everybody will understand it, so that they don't flout the law. Look at, I just feel that, for me, I feel the Kogi Central should, the people of Kogi Central, if they really know that there has been some change, they should stand up and come to, after all, the governor and the former governor, they are always in Abuja. You too, gather yourself. If you want to trek to Abuja, come to National Assembly and tell them, please bring our, if we don't bring, we'll sleep here. Let them kill everybody. If they want to finish everybody, let them finish. See, it's high time we start to take account of things that matter to us. Not looking for one. If I decide to want to cook porridge tomorrow, now people will gather and come and clap for me. Oh, 1 million naira vote. No, it's inconsequential. It's unnecessary.
Okay, so let's finally, yesterday we saw Nyesom Wike talking very humbly when he was flagging off the road construction somewhere in Mabushi. But there's one statement he made. He said he will only listen when is the person that employs him or put him in the office talk about anything that is bad. And I said, apart from the president talking, so he will never listen to all the people that lives in Abuja.
Had he listened before?
You know, there's something in the Bible that somebody who is wicked at heart hates advice. Do you understand? Somewhere in Proverbs or so. The president is not everywhere. Sometimes the president doesn't even know what is happening in this city. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Sometimes he doesn't know.
Very well.
So it is people who are out there that we see. It is people who are out there that will see the quality of roads being constructed and say, hey, this doesn't look right.
Or the refuse that are littering the road place. Or the hospitals that are not working.
Or the criminals that are overrunning the place.
Yes.
The hoodlums that are overrunning the place.
The president will never be kidnapped.
So, but there's something about Wike. I just sent an article now to Cable. Never pick a fight with Wike. There's something about him. And I know it's going to come to an end. One way or the other is going to come. He's too rambunctious. He's too just over himself. For God's sake, this is the capital city, the place that we should showcase to the rest of the world. I love being in this city. It's a pleasant place to live.
Beautiful
and
place.
It could be made 100% better with just little infrastructure. With the roads, not as it is now, most of the roads are concentrated within the city center.
Yeah.
There are some roads that have been constructed for the past 5 or 6 years that they just constructed and blocked them. But go to where people are living, where you have thousands of people, Abuja people,
Buhari, Gwagwalada,
and see the roads, for God's sake.
You know, I passed through Zuba to Suleja about 2 Saturdays ago. I was appalled. To move from Zuba to Suleja, it's a hell lot of time. In fact, to move to Madala, to get to Madala, the road is under construction. But that kind of a magnitude of a trunk A road connecting the north and the south, I mean, being blocked in that, of course, it's not a Wike's job. It's Ministry of Works job. But we're talking about a holistic, the government don't feel the people. Because we can say, whatever you say, I don't feel you.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But it's going to come for your vote very soon.
Yes. You don't feel you, but you come for my vote.
Yes.
I like the last
remember when he was flagging off the Karimu Life Camp Road?
Yes.
He said something when they were hailing him. He said something, he said, Abuja, I don't try for Unabi. They said yes. So when I come for Una during election, make una answer. So there is something about Wike, like he said, that level of egocentric, like I am a small god.
Yes.
He is the god with a small letter G. He sees himself like, apart from the president, he even sees himself like the president.
That's right.
It's just that he is not elected. So sometimes he made utterances that maybe when he sit down and think about it, I shouldn't have said it.
That's right.
So who knows, maybe he goes back and calls the president and say, no, think what I say like this, so I just want to use it to garner support. But truthfully, he should tone down, especially with how his utterances, and also see himself, like he said, tomorrow. He said something, and that thing is true, because I also say it. I was sitting down yesterday and I said this same thing he said, that whether he like it or not, one way or the other, something will happen. It's either the president decide to drop him or something happen. Because you can't be there for too long. One way or the other, supernaturally or physically, something will happen.
All right, we have to cut it off for now. Other things that happen in the news. We know that Fubara yesterday went to have a closed-door meeting with the president after other delegations met with the president. Not only that, the Senate also has postponed their resumption date to, I think, 18th of October. I wonder how they can be that long and when the nation needs their attention at this time. These are other things that happen in the news. Also, Obasa boasted, I don't know what to call him now, the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and said nobody can oppose Mr. President. All these things happened yesterday. We'll be back later in the day to tell you all that happened during the day by the evening. Thank you guys for standing by.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers. It's Landslide News. Thank you.